wanted to touch on a few things to do with Corepunk. So the one thing you're never going to see me do is reaction videos to other people's videos, because I don't believe that it's just to try to capitalize on somebody else's fame by adding them to your channel. So over the past few days that this game has been released, I have been watching content creators that are critiquing the game and just overall giving their thoughts. And the only thing I've gathered from it is that they want it to be like all the other games. They're constantly complaining about basically the same thing. And the thing I struggle with is I'm a player that doesn't have a lot of time to play. So I find this game to be refreshing. It's not meant to blow through. It is meant to explore. And just to enjoy every aspect of it. There's only two things so far in this game that I have seen that I wish was slightly different. One of them doesn't make any sense to me. So when you die, you get a pop-up box that asks you if you want to go back to the place that you just spawned at. I don't understand why that's there. Like you run your way to your corpse, and then you get this big box that you could accidentally click because if you die in a lower section, then you're heading down to it. So you have this big accept button that you accidentally click, which puts you back to where you just spawned, and you got to start the journey over again. The other part about that is that you're a ghost. So why do you got to keep moving around trees and all that stuff? You should just be able to go straight to it. Occasionally what I find is that whoever killed you is usually holding over your body. So when you go there, you may not be able to grab that one item. You may have to grab it and go. What I've found so far, it's the weavers. It's the weavers, or if I miscount how many enemies there are in the area, which the fog of war to me is brilliant. I freaking love it. So here's the thing. So I watched a couple streamers. I took their feedback. I left a comment on one of them because it was, "Hey, I want to hear your thoughts," and I never replied. So, anyways, so the one common goal, the one common theme. There's a few common themes, but one of them is if they listen to player feedback, they'll have a great game. My answer to that is they have a great game, and the player feedback that they need to listen to, if any, is the player. The person that has a 40-hour-a-week job hops into this game to play it. Not the streamer that has 8 hours a day to play this, but will move on to the next game as soon as it comes out. That's one of my pet peeves of all time, is that you have a content creator that's playing this game. They make decisions based on the game, and then the developers make those changes to help that content creator or appease that content creator. And then all of a sudden there's a new game out, and the content creator never touches the game again. I kind of wish that they would do it with surveys, throw out surveys, let the players make the decision. If they do that, that's fine. The other thing was the character creation is meh. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter because you're here. It doesn't matter. Like, this is the closest you can get to your character. It doesn't matter how you do that. That's to me, that's a very minor complaint. The biggest one that gets me is they complain about the questing. Now, I know in this day and age, everybody wants everything right now. They don't want to wait. They don't want to do, they don't want to put in the time. They want satisfaction. They want end game the same day, and then complain because there's nothing to do. So, basically, the way this game is designed is the quest require you to listen to the NPCs. The dialogue that they give you for each quest drives you in a certain direction. It may not exactly, it doesn't exactly tell you where it is, but it gives you the main premise of it, of the idea, so you can go there and you can kind of look around and eventually find it. It also inspires you to explore the map. It's not a set in stone. You don't just go here, do this. You have to actually explore the map to finish the quest. I hear a lot of content creators say, well, this game would be better once a wiki comes out. one of the things that I've been wanting to do is shut this chat off, because all I hear in this chat is, where is this? Where is that? Can someone ping this for me? Can someone ping that for me? Play the game. I never understood the wikis, right? Why do you want to play a game where you're just following someone else's direction? What was the point of putting your hard-earned money into a game if you're not even going to play it for yourself, right? I understand there's moments where you get stuck and you have to maybe look some things up, but people aren't even waiting. They're just posting, where's this? Where's that? Where's that? That's why I loved Path of Exile, but I never opened a wiki. And people would be irritated with me because I didn't have the right build, and who gives a shit? Just play the game, right? The other thing was, pace of the game is intended. I shouldn't say that. Pace of the game is running the way it's intended. The other complaint I hear all the time is the game is too slow. I want to be able to go out in the woods, and I want to be able to fight. I want to be able to regen my meta out of battle. I want to be able to craft items that do things different than what other items do. Yes, okay. Your health regeneration, once you get to certain levels in your cooking, your health regeneration, it doesn't matter what you cook, it's all the same stuff. Different times, right? 25 seconds versus 15 seconds. Stuff like that. So there is differences between them. They may not be a lot, but it's like, I want to go out and explore, and I don't want to have to put down a campfire. I don't have to sit because it's idle time. And my answer to that is, those are meaningful times. What I do is, when I have a campfire, I even throw campfires down for other people. Like, there was a thing last night where I was in Darktide Forest. There was a guy, he was really low on health. He shouldn't have been there because he was such a low level. And I dropped a campfire down for him and myself. And while that was running, I was in my inventory trying to figure out what I needed for this, what I needed for that. I got to get in the habit of, when I go to craft something, writing down what I need to craft that thing, so that I can be on the lookout for it, like what makes it and stuff like that. This might be the first game that I ever make an Excel spreadsheet for, so that I know if I want this, I need this, and this is where to get it. My own little wiki, I guess. But it's because I've explored it and I've found it. It's kind of one of them things, right? The other part was, it takes about an hour. It might even be a little bit more than an hour per level, which I think is fine. If you just focus on the quests, I think you get it done in an hour. The majority of the quests basically they solve themselves, right? Like, there's times that when you're doing something, you find something, and all of a sudden it'll tell you that quest is completed, and you didn't even mean to. And that's when it gets kind of cool. To me, it's like, you're playing the game, you're kind of, I don't want to say you're on a down thing, but you're kind of deciding whether or not you want to, take a break or whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, you get what you've been looking for, and it's gratifying. The other part about it is the combat, right? So the combat is MOBA inspired. Now, I've only played Heroes of the Storm. I never played anything else. I think I tried one of the other ones, but I liked Heroes of the Storm. Whatever game it was I liked, it was a free-to-play one, I think, and it died. Or maybe they're all free-to-play. But I didn't want to do a Blizzard game, so I went and did Heroes of the Storm. I may even be wrong on that, but I enjoyed that. And the beautiful thing about this combat is, you really do have to plan out your stuff. You can't just run in somewhere. Like last night, I ran into Black Tide Den because I thought there was 2 wolves, when actually there was 4. And when I was trying to run away from the 4, I ran into 2 more. So I had 6. And so I died. And then I went back. I sat in front of fire, and I thought about what I did wrong. I thought about what I had to do. It's a punishment. It's all it is. It's a punishment for overthinking your build, or thinking your build is better than it is, and not really checking your surroundings. It's worth coming up and seeing a little red dot on your mini map and rolling around them to kind of figure out how many there is. And that's kind of the way it is. You know, like it's if you go in Leroy Jenkins and you get your ass handed to you, food, and I think figure stuff like food and watermelon soup and stuff, it's going to bring your health and your mana back up, but it's not going to bring it up as fast as a campfire. And campfires, to me, they're a little hard. You get 10 when you first start, which you're going to need because you're very low. Even though you're level 1, you're still very, very low level for other level 1 stuff. So you have to strategically think your stuff out so that you don't waste your materials. That's the biggest thing that I think is awesome. People complain, well, you know, I do this, and then I got to sit in front of a campfire. Well, you got to sit in front of a campfire because you didn't do it right. You didn't think about it. You didn't calculate it. You just went in there, and now you got a campfire. And they give that a negative as downtime. They want you, the ones that I've seen so far, they want you to be able to regen mana, regen health out of combat. Well, if that's the case, campfires are useless, and you don't have to think about your strategic battles. You can basically jump in, start a battle, and when you're getting your ass handed to you, you can run away. And then once the battle music stops, then you start regenning, and then you can go back. There's no need for you to take your time and think things through. You're just blowing through mobs that way. So I hope they never change that, because that's a huge thing, and that's a lot of complaints that big streamers have. And it's like, no, please don't keep it this way. The cool thing is, like, the map doesn't tell you what level bosses are. Sometimes you find level, not bosses, but even adds. Some areas you find a level 2 right next to a level 7. So far, the Reavers are probably the hardest things I've had to come across. So, as much as I respect other streamers, I really hope nobody listens to them, because they're going to kill this game. And as a person that has followed this game since forever, right? I mean, I know I was probably one of the first 10 people to sign up on the forums. And like I said, I religiously check this game every week. I struggled with the alphas. I played the first alpha, and I'm like, yeah, maybe it's not for me, because I spent my whole time in front of a freaking campfire. But I was like, you know, maybe this game isn't for me. And then I couldn't play the other two. And then I thought the other day, I'm like, you know what? I've followed this game for so long. I love the art style. I love the transparency that the developers have created throughout their whole time building this game. They never left us out. There's one cutscene that I would probably remove from the game, only because it just doesn't belong. It doesn't need to be there. The game is it has a lot of high school humor. And if you listen to all the dialogue, there's a lot of dialogue, and it's important to listen to the dialogue, because that's what's going to help you solve that. You know, like the funny thing was, one of the missions that took me forever was I had to go to the soup kitchen and I had to find something. Well, if you open your map, everything here has a name, right? Pig farm, Big Mama has a name, but it doesn't say soup kitchen. So I spent a whole bunch of time, because it said it was behind the alchemy area, right? So depending on what position you're in, depends on where the alchemy area is and what's behind it. It was technically not behind it, but that's where it was. So the game's huge. The map is huge. I don't know if there's a limit. I found a cool little place down here with some NPCs. I basically just been wandering around. As I'm doing a quest, I figure out where the wood is that I need, and I grind for it. Like right now, I went and did a quest, turned in leather, and I need more leather just to be able to craft my weapon. Gold isn't dropped. Very rarely do you get more than probably $3 in gold. And in order for you to get your first mount, you have to buy the first mount, which is 250 gold, which is, it's quite a lot. And it doesn't do any good to sell anything, because even things that you crafted, like you can't sell this, but it's 0.01. Everything is 0.01, 0.03. There's very seldom. I think it was a campfire, was it? No. It was something the other day, right there. So painkillers, those are $8.25. I think so far that's the most expensive thing I've seen that you could sell. I have 11 of them, so I could sell that. But it's still, but you need these. You know, I guess you don't really need them. You could craft other things. The only difference is it's 15 seconds versus, well, that's 15 seconds, but less. Anyways, and that's 30 seconds. So that's all I got. Anyways, I really hope the game continues to go on the path it's going on. I hope they don't listen to the big streamers, because they're not going to be here in a month or whatever. The game will be. I really think they got a solid thing, and I hope they keep going with it. I hope they leave it as it is. Fix minimal little things. The music is very intuitive if you're paying attention to it. I recommend the game if you like old school gameplay, right? Like, I can remember the first time I played the Tomb Raider games. I think it was the second or third Tomb Raider game where they started out, where they had a book that you could go to a record store and buy, which would tell you all the puzzles of the game. But the very first one, I remember it was my first Tomb Raider game. Figuring out the puzzles was awesome. And if I was stuck on a puzzle for too long, I had a friend at work that he was playing at the same time. So I would say, hey, I'm stuck here. And he would go home and he would play that section with a VCR tape, record it, and then bring it into work. We were switching tapes back and forth depending on if one of us got stuck on something and the other one solved it. We're helping each other out, because some of those puzzles were pretty. I mean, if I spent like a week on it or whatever, then I'd be like, yeah. So this game to me is that it brings you back a long ways, and I just think it's awesome. And another complaint was that there's times where there's nothing to do, and that's not true. There's never nothing to do. There is moments where you're like, I should take a break. It does put you in that position where you feel like you should take a break, which is great, because you should take a break. I mean, Guild Wars 1 is my all-time favorite game, and it used to tell you how long you've been playing and recommend that you take a break. And this game kind of does that with content, because you're like, I farmed, 7 wolves. I didn't get what I needed. I need one more piece. Do I just keep going, or do I just take a break? And that's what happened last night. I took a break. So I don't know how many hours I have in this, and I'm loving it. I can't stop playing it. We were out of power last night. I couldn't stream on Thursday after Thanksgiving because we lost power due to a big snowstorm, and I was literally bummed that I couldn't get in this game. Midnight, power came back on. I hopped on the game, and I played for about 3 hours. I love the game. I think the game is really cool. I'm kind of glad in a way that I didn't play all the alphas. I started up a second character just because I wanted to see if your storage in the bank carried over, and it does. So it's pretty cool. But anyways, if it's something you might be into, you can go for it. It's not that expensive. It's worth, to me, it in a day that are overpriced AAA bug-filled games. It's pretty nice to have a low-cost game that the only bug that I've found with it. There's one section where the fog of war mechanic didn't work, so you were in the dark, and you had to kite the bad guy out into the light so you could kill him. The other aspect, I think one of the other bugs that I've seen is people sliding across the ground. Occasionally, not very often. So, anyways, take care. Hope you had a great holiday, and drop a like, drop a sub. I'm really trying to get to 100. I am going to start doing something on Rumble. At some point, I got to take some time and figure it all out. So, anyways, take care, and we'll see ya.